You know why that is important? Because it could be abused. Somebody can round trip and round trip and round. So there must be something to show
like
that you are really here.
Card.
Your identity card, with the fact that you are now resident here. This is where you are located.
You just raised one of the issues that I'm thinking, okay, what's the point of it? Because my initial background was in IT. And I'm thinking, why would the data that you captured in Borno State or in Kano State or anywhere else now be deleted and then fresh one captured instead of just transferring all of that? It's a computer system. The database will recognize the fact that it's moved from one table to another.
You see, I think we should, that's an internal INEC procedure. What is important for you as a member of the public is that your data is reflected here now
in Lagos
and it no longer exists there.
Okay. All right. That being the case, now let's move on to, as part of the unbundling then, let's move on to this issue of focus on the number of polling units. When you look at the number of polling units, why do you find it absolutely critical at this stage to focus on that as against the voter enlightenment and information that prepares the 70 million people that are registered, that will prepare them for the forthcoming election?
You see, when you say focus, I really, again, have some reservations about that. It's not INEC that dictates how issues are placed in the public domain. We release information. People run with that information for purposes they desire to run with it. I can assure you that the same way we release information about the creation of polling units, we actually did more with the continuous voter registration that is going on. I'm sure you have not had a jingle about creation of polling units. We've done too many jingles about continuous voter registration. We've done posters. We've gone on our website. We've done all this. You won't find out anything about the PU there. So you see, when you say focus, it is not INEC that is doing the focusing. What we are doing is to release the information. But people pick information and use it for their own purposes. All INEC has done is to release an operational information. We had not done this before now, again, in response to what my co-panelist said. We had not done this before now because of the governorship elections. And we thought, look, let's get these governorship elections gone. Then we can do it. So it is now that we are getting the governorship elections behind that we are getting to do it, because we have to do it before 2015 anyway. Why? Because, like I said, we've had experiences where you have underpopulation in some areas, you have overpopulation in some areas. You have to find a way of spreading, and that's why we used an aggregate of 500. People are, the conspiracy theory thing I'm talking about. What is the conspiracy about saying, look, if you have 2 million here, then it means you need only four polling units at 500 per polling unit. And if you have 6 million here, it means you need how many polling units now?
Like 6 or whatever.
Mm-hmm. It's scientific. There's no conspiracy about it. It's scientific.
Okay.
There is manipulation. We need to get real here. We're Nigerians. Just like telling me that one cattle rider will go and they start applying to have his system transferred. We know it's not going to work. And in any case, by the time they're inundated with all those applications, the system will collapse. It's not going to work.
But we've
been
handling it.
You've not been handling it, because I know I ran for governorship, and that was a long time ago. I had to transfer my data from here, my vote from Lagos to Anambra State. I know what it took me, but that was even in 2009. But let's leave that one now. Back to the polling, because that is where I'm talking about. I know what 500 votes can do. And like I told you, this is on paper. Now, you go to a place where you have had a reduction. INEC did that, I didn't do that for them. From 5 point something million to marginally above 3 million. And you now give them so many new polling booths. And like I said, he can confirm that. There is no way INEC is going to give 200 ballot papers, 20 polling booths, polling units, they're supposed to have 500. Because if suppose 500 of us really come out, are you going to tell us, sorry, wait, let's go and print another one? So what it means that it is already given that all those polling units will have 500 ballot papers. Listen again. The whole of Southeast has about 1,000 something. Maybe I've seen his data. He has it here. About 1,000 and something, 1,162 or so polling units. FCT, where people come and go, has the same number. That's 5 states has the same number as FCT, where people come and go. Now, Northwest is being unduly favored in this exercise.
Why do you think that is?
Their spokesman is here. We know what, I know what
that's
regular people think.
Don't use
With
it to convey, that's not what you are saying.
manipulated. I said it's being manipulated towards a given end. And that was why I started by saying Jega had done well.
Until
And
now.
I'm choosing my English very well.
Until now.
He had done well. What is going on now is manipulation towards a given end. Because 500 times 21,000, can you just give me the number, please? How many million? 10 point something million votes. That's what you want to create to be sure that at the very worst, even if it's 50% or 60% of that, that is not even really real because it's on paper. You throw it to a candidate or a party of your choice. I don't know which of them is going to be.
So you're not seeing anything, good in this new polling unit?
Totally
Because
unnecessary.
they're
at this
talking
point in
about
time.
it
Unnecessary.
helping the election
Only
to be
in Nigeria
smoother.
can we do this 5 months to an election.
It's
You haven't
not
even done,
necessary
have you done
now.
the limitation?
Yes.
Have you done what or according to them, there's a name they call it, registration? Have you checked that? And then you are building your house from the top rather than from foundation?
I think because, it's obvious now, we have a controversy in our hands. One question I want to ask, is there any consensus, even in INEC,
There was
about
not.
this issue of, polling units, new ones being created? Is there a consensus? There is a controversy. Why do we want to create controversy 5 months to election?
Controversy in
The
Nigeria.
national commissioners from the south
what we are saying.
against it.
Okay,
Is
let's
everybody
take this back to
amiable
INEC,
to this
Chief Press Secretary.
creation of these years.
Let's take it back. Maybe in asking you certain questions, it will make it possible for you to put clarity to this. My understanding, excuse me, my understanding of what you're saying is you're not creating new voters, right? You're creating new polling units
For existing voters.
for existing voters. So if that is the case, when you create this polling unit, what's the strategy or what's the plan of how you distribute them? Maybe that would help to throw some light on it.
That's the point I tried to make earlier, that we already have existing polling units where we have voting points. Where, for instance, a polling unit that has 3,000 people, previously when we tried to reduce every point to about 300.
So let me interject and let's use a practical example. Kaduna North. Let's say Kaduna North is a local government, and in that local government they've got 10,000 voters.
Yeah.
And 10,000 voters, if you distribute, how many polling units would you have there?
500, an average of 500. When we use average, we are not saying for every polling unit there must be 500 people, because even when you have 5,000 voters or register, it doesn't mean all the 5,000 people will come out. Now, so in that hypothetical local government, if you have 5,000 voters, you are talking of 10 polling units, because an average of 500 per polling unit.
So
And the same principle applies everywhere.
Ballot papers, would you?
Sorry, let's get this clear.
No, you would
so
do that, right?
would you
10,000
print
ballot papers.
10,000 ballot papers?
Actually, you print ballot papers based on what you have on the voter register.
So that means you've got 10,000 registered voters in Kaduna North.
Yes.
Hypothetically,
Yes.
and that 10,000 voters register you will print.
Yeah.
And
Because that
for
vote is on the register.
every single one of those polling units, of the 10 polling units you expect, 10,000, you'll be expecting 20 polling units. So if you have 20 polling units in Kaduna, you will then have 500 each in each of them.
Sure.
Correct.
So if you print 500, if it so happen, like Kayode is